Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Star vs. the Force of Evil, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Sam Quattro.
Hello.
And Andy Potter.
Hello.
It is the April 7th episodes of Star vs. the Force of Evil that aired this morning on the Disney Channel and the Disney app. Princess, Quasar, Caterpillar, and the Magic Bell. That's one episode. Ghost of Butterfly Castle, Cornball, ! And Meteora's Lesson. We'll be getting into these 4 episodes today. We talk Star every week that it's new here on the Overly Animated Podcast. Find us at overlyanimated.com. Search for us on iTunes at overlyanimated.com/iTunes, or YouTube and youtube.com/overlyanimated. Last week we talked about the highly anticipated Curse of the Blood Moon. So listen previously for our thoughts on that. And we have equally as big, right, things to get into here, including Ludo. Yep. So I'm very excited about that. So yes, 4 new episodes. Sam, what did you think?
Okay. Ludo, not a fan. I think, I was considering rewatching them, but not rewatching that one.
That's what I would do, yeah.
You could get the gist of it just from one watch. I don't even remember the middle one. What was that one about?
Moon and Mina.
Princess Caroline was there.
Yeah.
I thought that one had the most, that one and the Cornball one had the most, plot impact, I would say. So those were more compelling. Janet the Babysitter, it was okay. I don't know. These are really I don't want to be these are subpar, they're the worst, blah, blah, blah. But it's kind of I'm sitting here for an hour watching these, and I'm like, oh, that's an hour of my day, You
want some action here.
And yeah, basically, I want to be more compelled. And I think at this point, we're focusing on a lot of world building and a lot of ensemble castings, which I think is good. I think, you definitely need that, especially considering, they're important. But, at the same time, you leave us dangling with, Star and Marco stuff. And I know we complained about it all last podcast, but I find that more compelling than Meteora just hanging out with Glossaric. I don't know. I feel like these episodes could just be condensed into a singular 11-minute segment, and you wouldn't lose much.
Okay. Yes, I think airing some frustrations that a lot of fans have, so I think all that's very fair. Andy, you just caught up on the season, and so you have fresh perspective. What do you think of this week of episodes?
I mean, all these episodes, kind of going off what Sam said, they start to bring, they put forth an idea that sounds like a good episode of Star, and then doesn't go the extra mile to put that exciting or absurd factor that I have, that I love when I watch Star. The episode with Moon going back to the castle and we have Mina, could either be really absurd or really I think actually an interesting delve into Moon's character, but it ends up being kind of neither. And then there's this episode where we have Meteora's Lesson. I don't like Glossaric, but I think a stupid time travel episode where we see a lot of crazy stuff could have been funny and absurd, but we really just played it kind of straight and it felt weird. And I think that's what all these episodes kind of felt like, because there's stuff here I should like and should find really exciting, but I'm just kind of on most of it.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's the reaction most people are going to have. I do think these are 4 good episodes. I think all of them have their merit to that, including the Ludo episode, which I was really dreading when Disney posted a clip of it yesterday. I was like, oh my God, this is the Ludo episode. I didn't hate it. It was fine.
Yeah.
So I think you guys were very correct. Sam is right. These are very ensemble episodes. Star and Marco are only in one of the 4 of these episodes. The first one is Ludo focused. The last one is Glossaric focused. And then you have Moon and Mina. It's an interesting use of our time in the last season. I think a lot of people are very frustrated that we are now 9 out of 21 done with the final season of the show, and we still don't have a plot for the season. I mean, we're working to something. The show just hasn't made it clear yet what we're doing. But it's, like each of these I think is good. They illuminate a lot about the world of Star. I think in particular, Meteora's lesson, and maybe Ludo helped, I had a lot of problems with the world building the show's done. It's been very bare bones, and these episodes really help it a lot. I think we explain what Mina is, but it's just not what I want to be doing right now. I do think these benefit the show overall. It's the last season. Let's do things. This is not really it. That being said, I think the last 2 episodes are actually pretty good. Meteora's lesson, I think, has a lot of really interesting things in it, and it's pretty funny. And then I think Cornball is. I have complaints about how heavy-handed that episode is, but I think that it's the best unit, I guess, of all the episodes. I was most interested in what was happening.
I actually disagree. I like that one the least, but it might be because I didn't like the heavy-handedness of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be for the same reasons. Yeah,
yeah.
So we'll get into. I think we can start with Cornball actually, because it's the only one with Star and Marco here. But it's, this is the main plot line this season clearly is human and monster relations. So I think this episode also really helps the show overall, because that was something that's always been there in Star and has never really culminated. And this season we're doing that. This episode goes a long way. It is about Cornball is apparently a sport in the Star world.
Oh,
of course,
very
it is.
complicated sport.
Dylan, this sounds like something I would make up for our stupid D&D thing. That's what it sounds like. Damn Cornball.
It's like Quidditch.
Isn't Star just stupid D&D? Really?
The show overall.
I'm gonna eat it for that. People are not gonna like that. I said that.
Isn't Star just stupid D&D?
It is though. That's exactly what it is.
Aren't all fantasy shows just D&D? But
basically.
Yeah, no, this
is
their stupid fake sport. It's about the integration of the sport. I think the use of the word integration it puts this into new territory of making monsters and humans races and comparing it to race in our world. I think this is a bold move and probably a bad move, saying because that's a word that has connotations with baseball in our world and United States race integrations in sports and other areas. And I think the show has not really cared being compared to things. We made other comparisons a few weeks ago. And I wonder if this is why you're not crazy, Andy, because this is there's those connotations. There's just the very blatantness of they're all shaking hands at the end, and it's like the kids do it, and then Buff Frog makes this very generic statement at the end. Give me your takes here.
My issue with it is it compares it to real life racism and events in history without really getting how things actually went in the real world, because the fact of the matter is they kind of write off the monsters to being just as wrong as the humans, which is kind of a bad look for the show when we have this game and it's the monsters don't want to play with the humans either. They don't want to be on the same team. They don't want to work together. When the fact of the matter is the humans are the ones that kind of enacted this prejudice for I forget how long. At least decades, maybe longer. And it's just kind of a bad look, in my opinion, to go this is integration in baseball, where black people were allowed to play on white teams. That's not the same thing as this. That's not, I don't know. I don't want to go too far into this because I can't really voice my thoughts completely on this, but it feels wrong the way they did it. I am kind of impressed that they tried to do this. I think they just didn't stick the landing as well as they could have on this.
Yeah, we're not super qualified to get into it too much.
Yeah,
that's what you mean. Yeah. It's right. On the surface, if you ignore the comparisons, and they're doing the comparisons on purpose because it adds meaning to it, and they're trying to have it resonate and be have messages to our situations in our world based on the fantasy world. But like maybe if you ignore it, then you can say we don't know the full history of the mutants and monsters. There's bad stuff monsters did too. It's gray area in the show. But yeah, once you make comparisons, it's like, no, it's the mutants are the ones in the wrong in this analogy. And you're the one that made an analogy by saying integration in this episode. And it's not just that. This has been a recurring thing with this plotline. It's been very blatant comparisons to other things. And they really haven't dissuaded that.
And this goes along with, I see people saying, like, well, we don't know the full story, like you said. But this is similar to the thing in Steven Universe where, I'm not going to get spoilers, but the ending has some stuff that, like, people talk about, like, we need to get into stuff about fascism. But the thing is, that's not what the ending of the show was about. They had themes they wanted to talk about. And the thing is, in this show, it's the same kind of deal where, like, they're showing us themes, they're showing us things. And the way they've been portrayed on screen is that the Mumins are wrong. And if they're going to show us that earlier in the show, they can't really do this and make it not out to be that the mutants are still wrong when they're making this analogy. It's kind of bad.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. For the most part in the show, we've gotten humans are bad, monsters were mistreated in the past. I think we've done a little bit of walking that back to a certain extent, but this episode does go against most of what the show's done with the mutant monsters thing. And this is like, oh, they just don't get along. They should get along now. So I'm not really crazy about how this is handled.
I know what it is, Dylan. It reminds me of the Great Divide.
That's not the Avatar episode. That's not a good comparison.
No, but that's what it reminds me.
Like, it's not a favorable comparison.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that? The two warring.
The two tribes that were like just disagreed with each other for no real reason, and at the end they got together for no real reason.
Yeah, okay. I think that's fair. That's the reason that episode is the worst Avatar episode, right? Is because it's just this generic conflict, and it's like, oh yeah, and that's what it feels like here. I think the show's been more nuanced on about it in the past, but the thing they're really going for is like the new generation stuff, which I think is a good and interesting thing to comment on here. It's like they're trying to get the adults to play this game together and come together, and then everyone starts like they still pick separate sides, and they all start like fighting together, and then the kids on their own start the integrated game. And Buff Frog at the end says, our generation is garbage, but the little ones, they might turn out okay.
I think that was the best take of this episode, to be honest. I think this was the best, not take, but best way to say something in the episode.
It's the most resonant given that there are comparisons to our world being made. Yeah, I think so. Sam, what do you think of that aspect of it, that the kids start their own game and they seem to be the ones actually having like forward progress in society in the human world?
I think that was the most on the nose part of the episode for me. Not to say that isn't true to life. But if it were a bit more true to life, you'd have, these kids spouting out the same racist BS that their parents are saying, essentially, because that's how that happens. I thought it was fine. It's I don't know, man. It's not really my cup of tea to handle the situation like, oh, the children are our future, even though the adults are too set in their ways, man, to, like, get over their prejudices, but their children will lead the way. Like, why can't the adults just get over their prejudices, man? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not smart. Okay.
But no, I think this is...
I think it's a good point.
Yeah, I think so. It is very on the nose, the take, and it's optimistic, probably in a not realistic way.
But then again, it's not like too much of a problem considering Star is a show for the TVPG Y7 audience. But essentially, which is, it's fine for me personally. It's fine that they do that. They don't go into like the deep moral ambiguity of it all. It's fine. But you go, Andy.
Sorry, Sam. I'm not trying to cut you off. I really agree with what you said, because it's just like I don't like this idea of the adults just going like, well, I give up. Like that's what they're saying. They're saying I don't need to work at this, and I think there's a lot of that going on in the real world, like of people older than our generation doing things without real care and saying like, oh, the next generation will deal with it. And I think that's kind of not a great message right now, because again, not going into things that I don't want to go into right now.
It's actually a pretty depressing message considering climate change and stuff, right? It's
that's what I'm hinting at. That's what I'm hinting at, climate change. Like, this idea that, like, the adults don't need to change because, hey, the next generation will figure it out. Like, that's how we got into most of the messes we're in the world, because the adults were like, I keep saying adults. We're adults. The older generations just don't really care to change or learn or get better. And I don't like that, because, like, Moon is similar. Moon is not learning or changing based on what Star's doing. She even says plainly, like, I don't agree with the choices you made, instead of trying to learn why Star made the choices she made. And I'm not sure if the show is going to dig into that.
It's interesting. Yeah, I think they will probably. It's like,
I hope so.
Moon's by being apathetic, we can get into that episode. She's kind of taking an anti-monster stance just by saying, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
She's complicit.
She's complicit.
Yeah.
It's not how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's complicit by just letting Mina go. Like, she just... I think this... I hope that's what they're getting at here, because... But it feels really weird to have the Moon episode, like, right next to this episode, because it's just sending a completely different message. This episode, the Cornball episode, is kind of saying, hey, Moon's fine doing this. But the other episode's like, Moon, what are you doing? This is wrong. It feels just completely out of place with the message they're trying to say, or I'm not sure what message they're trying to say right now.
I think it's supposed to be complicated. I think they're going for...
But I don't think it's the complication that's good. I think this is just like dramatic irony for dramatic irony's sake. Like, it's just, we're not going to tell all the characters everything just so they'll make decisions that are not great. And I don't like that.
I think they intend to culminate all these plot lines for sure.
Yeah, I just hope it, I don't know. I feel kind of lost right now watching it.
Yeah, I think maybe a summary of this is that one of the main things the show is doing right now, maybe the main thing, is making these points that it's like, this is weird, this is Star, and we're talking about, like, the moral stance of the show and the things like the ideals it's getting into and stuff. But, like, I think that's the main thing the show has been saying. Like, that's what Cornball's entirely about. That's a big thing that Ghost of Butterfly Castle's about. A lot of these past episodes as well, and that's, like, a really ambitious and high level thing to do, like, to make your show primarily about these concepts instead of, like, Star and what she's doing and stuff. And I think, like, we're just less interested in that. I think, like, this stuff, like, for this show, considering it's not willing to get it, not that it's not willing. I feel like it's just not getting into the level of granularity that would be satisfying for us with these concepts. I think what it's doing and focusing on that is not leading to a place where we're, like, super happy with what's going on.
But I think it almost gets there in Ghost of Butterfly Castle, though, because we get to see Moon being, like, super hypocritical. Because the thing is, she condemns a previous queen for making this order that Mina is, but she doesn't understand that she's doing, like, kind of the same thing to Star, where Star's, like, saying, like, hey, Mom, you're doing something bad. Like, it's the same cycle, the same thing where, like, a younger person is saying, hey, this older person did something bad. And it's kind of interesting, but we don't go the full route of having Moon realize she's hypocritical or someone telling her she's hypocritical. Like, that's what I need. I need us to actually delve into that and for the characters to realize, like, this isn't a sustainable thing.
Yeah, I think the show's definitely going to get into that. But I think it's pretty slow. We're almost halfway through the season.
Yeah, and that's a problem, because there is, like, a lot of nuance here, and there's a lot of, gray area to chew through. And I think it's great that the show's doing that, and I do applaud it for having that sort of ambition. But for me, it's kind of the airing schedule that's making it an issue. Having 4 episodes a week for the past month or so, it's like you have all the silly Billy episodes, and then you have, like, oh, we're just gonna do this analogy to the real world and do this, that, and the other, and it's kind of driving me bonkers to have that, like,
them all next to each other.
Yeah, that dissonance between each other in the same week, and having to talk about it and kind of be conscious of, oh, well, the show is doing great things, but next to things that I personally don't really like and that aren't really my cup of tea, and that, maybe, like, we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, like, maybe we're more acceptable in season 1, but we're in season 4 now. We have a lot of consequences and responsibilities and just stuff to plow through, and we can't be playing detective all week, you know?
Yeah, I think that maybe it is a little bit exacerbated by the airing schedule, but this is always something Star's done, having dissonant episodes very near each other. So I think I feel like it's okay to criticize the show for that and not just the way it's being aired, because obviously they don't have control over how it's being aired. If it was binged, it would be even more exacerbated if they put it all out there.
Yeah, and like that's not anybody else's problem but mine, honestly.
No, I mean,
I feel like a little bit exhausted with how much disconnect there is between the episodes sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's because the show is doing a wide range of things very close to each other. I think that's
I think that's really fair. Because like I was saying, like if we could talk about Ghost of Butterfly Castle like alone, that'd be fine. But now we have to talk about Ghost of Butterfly Castle right next to Cornball, and it just we have to have this discussion about how the show is doing some things better or worse when it's really just like, I don't know. It makes us talk about, I think, different things than the show itself sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think like those two, so those are separate episodes, I guess. So the first two are one episode, then the next two are the next episode. So they're not supposed to be next to each other.
Yeah.
Like, literally. But I think like the show is doing those two episodes together. Like even if they're not supposed to be in the same episode, it's like, it's near each other. And I think that's because they're doing these separate high level concepts that are going to culminate. And I think that's kind of the strategy here.
But I mean, if they were a week apart, I think it'd be better. I think this would be like,
better. Okay, yeah. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's fine having them air like in order next to each other. But I mean, like because we're airing them all 4 together, like it just feels weird.
That's fair. I think if they were even more spaced apart, we'd be frustrated even more so at nothing happening, because we're just like, okay, let's get to the meat of the season, which hasn't happened yet. If it took twice as long to get to this point, I think we'd be even more frustrated. But yeah, maybe it would get rid of some of this dissonance. But again, none of that's
we can never be happy, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it was really landing, we'd be happy regardless of how it's being aired. So I think it's just these are just symptoms of things not working to the extent that, and I think it's not just us. We've criticized a lot to start with, and we were a little bit negative last week. I want to get into some of the more positive things like now, but I do think the general tone of the fandom is a little frustrated right now, is what I would say. So I think this isn't just us. But like I said, I do really like Cornball, and I guess the reason why, like, those are the things we didn't like about it is some of the blatant messaging, the comparisons to real not landing. I do like the ambition in comparing to the real world. It's just like, it show doesn't see, like, it doesn't seem aware enough that if you're going to do that, you have a responsibility to handle it in a very detailed and careful way. And it doesn't seem like we are. But everything else I like about this episode. I love Buffrog in this episode. I love all the tadpoles. I love Marco and Kelly, surprisingly. It's just it's a good unit. It's telling a pretty complete story. But yeah, let's talk about Buffrog. Sam, you were very hyped, I think, to see Buffrog return this week. Yes.
Yes, I love him, and I love his children. And
I mean, you could love Buffrog. That wouldn't be that out of character.
What?
Buffrog's a good character. Well, maybe you like Buffrog.
No. Anyway, I love him, and I think.
Oh, you weren't being sarcastic.
No.
Oh, okay. I was taking a guess.
No, I'm pretty sure his last episode, I was gushing about him as well. You'll have to check the receipts on that one. But I was really excited to see him, and he's a dad, and he's doing the sports thing. I just want to see him, like, go to a PTA conference or something.
Oh, that's what we need to be getting into?
Yeah, like school, and yeah, just, like, lay it on thick.
Okay.
Just have, like, some school stuff in there.
What do you think of the tadpoles being a lot older now?
I don't know. They're so beefy.
Yeah, they're pretty beefy. I guess it makes sense.
I kind of miss the days when the Katrina was, like, just legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, kids grow up, and we can't stop the passage of time, and...
Especially for weird frog people.
Yeah, how do they age, even? Like, how old are they... How many years are they, and how old are they supposed to be maturity-wise?
We need the answers. Is Buffrog could be as old as Star and just be an adult frog, right? Like,
yeah.
Who knows?
Wow, that's some food for thought there.
Andy, Buffrog in this episode, do you like him?
I mean, I like Buff Frog. He's fine. I mean, he's not my favorite, but he's fine. I don't know. I think he was funnier when he was with Ludo, which is crazy to say. Like right now, he just...
How dare you?
I mean, like in this episode, he pretty much is just like... He just preaches at the audience most of the episode.
Yeah, he's kind of a straight man in this episode for other things happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. But it's nice
I
to
like
see
it. I
Katrina
love
and
the children,
everyone.
though.
Yeah,
Yes,
they're good.
Katrina's great.
Katrina and Star have been talking, and that's how told
Yeah,
Star where they're heading.
They're friends.
And I do like the little joke of Buff Frog being like, "I'm a spy. How'd you get this past me?" And it's just like, I'm so proud of them. He's just so proud of his kids, and I really like that. I really like this just like single dad figure being so proud of fathering his children well.
That's nice. Yeah, I think a lot of people love Buff Frog. I think it's a good character to bring back in here. Wonder to what extent we'll see him moving forward. We have too much going on, so I doubt that much. But there's and then the kids are part of the kid stuff at the end too. Kelly and Marco. So this
They're
episode,
breakup buddies.
They're breakup buddies.
Yep.
This episode's a few minutes like, oh, Kelly and Marco in this episode too. They're announcing the match, and apparently Kelly's this expert on Cornball, and Marco says that he'd rather stay with Kelly basically after the whole drama with the Blood Moon last week. He'd rather just stay with Kelly instead of sitting with Star. That's really sad. I didn't like that.
I like it, honestly. It's like putting some conflicts.
I like the hashtag drama of it all, but it makes me sad as a huge Starco shipper. Like, really just hang out with Star. You guys are friends. Even if you're just friends, just hang out together.
I mean, he's clearly not hanging out with Star because it didn't affect his feelings at all.
Yeah, right. So that's the thing. I do think this episode supports what we were talking about last week, where we don't believe that they. I mean, this is widely, I think, accepted at this point. We don't believe that they don't have feelings for each other anymore. Yeah. So this is like step one of approaching that, and we'll probably build up over time. But going to be a slow build up considering they were in one episode this week of the 4.
Oh my god.
Very slow.
Yeah,
Definitely
can't wait.
only culminating it in the series finale. By the way, I should have mentioned that at the top. We got dates for the rest of the episodes, and the series finale for Star will be May 19th.
Wow, that is so soon.
That is soon.
So we're going to continue with an hour a week, and then the half-hour finale probably will be on May 19th. Wow. Yeah, only a little over a month until Star's over. So, we are airing things fast here, going through these 21 half hours. So that's pretty hype, especially if we're leaving Starco unculminated until the very end. This is going to be a big event, I think, that Sunday.
I'm just so frustrated that we didn't get, like, I thought this show was going to have them get together and we'd see it, like, on screen for a little bit. I just hate...
Yeah, we covered this last week, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Andy wasn't here last week.
It's not really what the episodes are approaching, but I definitely agree with you.
I just don't like the show. I don't like this idea of romanticizing, like, once you start a relationship, it's over. Like, that's the end. That's the happy ending. Yeah. Like, anyways, I'm sure you guys.
I still expect the show to subvert this in some way, what we're doing here, like make it slightly more interesting than just culminating at the very end, but these episodes don't get us there, and make me a little worried because it shows the show's desire to focus on things that are not them.
I just wish that we had focused on things that were more related to their Like, if we had a Tom episode here instead of one of these, I would have been very happy.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, it's things that aren't Star and Marco, but it's also things that have nothing to do with Star.
Like, if Ludo was Tom, like in like a Tom episode, like that would have been
Ludo
great.
was Tom. Thinking, yeah.
That would be a different show.
Well, what if Ludo was Star's love interest? No, just okay.
Okay. Why did you even say that?
That's what you were insinuating, Andy.
No, I wasn't. I was saying that like the Ludo episode was a Tom
You put this in my head.
I'm not to blame for every dirty thought that enters your brain, Dylan.
I mean, it is, and I don't mean like that, but I mean it is dirty because it involves Ludo. And
no. I'm saying I'm not. I didn't mean it like that. I meant that like this is a vile thought you're
exactly. Ludo is just vile. So yeah, it's. I agree. Okay, back to Kelly and Marco. I don't know how do we get there, but yeah, they're being cute this episode, and then the later Kelly's I'm gonna go save Cornball, and then kisses Marco on the cheek, and Marco blushes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is really cute. I'll say that.
Are you two shipping the Kelko right now?
I just want people to be happy, and if they're happy with each
Like,
other, that's fine.
Yeah, that is fine. Yeah.
Like the thing is, I am less like. Here's the thing: I love Starco, but the thing is, Tom is so good, and I'm like so okay.
Okay. Tom is good now. Let's not go overboard. He's not so good. He's
like
fine.
Tom, though.
Tom's fine now. He was terrible before.
Yeah, he was terrible.
By contrast, he's so good, but that doesn't make him.
But every episode he's in, Dylan, I am so happy to see him.
Oh no, Andy's a Tom stan.
Yeah, no, I really like Tom.
Oh,
I am
no.
a Tom stan.
Well, we need one Tom stan at
That's
least.
true. I think Michelle. Does Michelle like Tom? I don't know. Someone likes Tom.
I don't know. I just really like this. He's grown, and I like him, Dylan.
Okay. I mean, he's
Like,
Tom,
It has grown.
I just think, like, I think at first when we first saw Tom, like, it seemed like this was like fake growth. But the more we see him, it's like it clearly is he's grown as a person, and I really appreciate that.
It does seem like it. Yeah. It does.
Yeah.
In before he reverts back in.
If he reverts back, I will take back everything I said, and I'll be very upset.
Okay, I'm holding you to that.
Yeah.
I we could do that. I mean, the show's done that before. It's like, oh, he's better now. Oh, he's as the slight. I mean, he's slightly relapsed before going back to.
But relapsing is different than like completely being the same person
That's
again.
true. That's true. Yeah, he's not going to go back to be the same person. I agree with that. Okay, so Kelly, yeah, okay. Apparently, we're off Starco now. That's not acceptable. But yeah, Kelly and Marco are cute in this episode. The more we do with this, the sadder it's going to be when Starco happens. So I don't know what we're doing there. Like, how are we going to have a happy ending for Kelly if she clearly loves Marco here? So I'm worried about that. I'm not worried about this being canon and Starco not being canon at the end. I still have unbridled confidence in.
They could be a throuple. They could be in a polyamorous relationship. It's fine.
Show's definitely not doing that, but that would be good.
Yeah.
Well, we can do it in our hearts.
Yeah,
or we could have Star break up with a girl to get back with Marco. Let's just give Star a girlfriend. That's what.
Well, yeah. That's the thing that would be great if the show did it. But no more. Still no advancement on Star being bi. Still just that one episode.
But it was really bi.
It was. I kind of don't think at this point we'll get it either. Oh, no. I don't know. Their crew was pretty excited. It's like Darren talked months ago on the record about this.
I watched it last night, and like you guys told me it was like really blatantly bi, and like I watched it, and like it was blatant, but the thing that shocked me was it just kept going, that scene, where it was just like, yeah, Star's really into this girl.
Yeah, the one scene is very long, and then also it just recurs through the entirety of the 11-minute episode is her liking the girl. Yeah, so like I said, if that's all we get, that's like fantastic. It was fantastic on its own, but for this to be consequential and like chart anything, it needs to be more than that. So we'll see. No progress on that, but Star was barely present this week. I don't even know what she did this episode. That was interesting. Not really that much, honestly. But yeah, Kelly, Marco, and I made them
Cornball rules.
Cornball rules. Yeah,
they're complicated. I relate because sports is complicated. I don't know how basketball works. What is traveling? I don't know. I got in trouble for traveling in elementary school, and like my gym teacher was like, "Sam, you can't do that." I was like, "What is that? I don't know, dude." I'm like 10
somewhere.
No.
Refs from last night don't know what double dribbling is either. Topical. Okay. Yeah. It's
anyway. Sports is complicated. There are some sports I personally enjoy, like the baseball. I like the baseball. I know how the baseball works.
Why are we just talking about sports in general now?
Because
we is a strong word, Dylan.
Sam, why is Sam just talking?
Because I want to.
It's more on topic than.
I want to prove to the people that I know what sports is.
Well, you just said you didn't know what sports is.
Yeah.
Well, I know what some sports are.
Some sports, but you don't know cornball.
No, because.
Do you think if cornball was a real sport, you would be into it, Sam?
No.
No, probably.
Because it's like Quidditch.
It is like Quidditch, yeah.
It is.
And I don't like Harry Potter, so.
Okay, how dare you?
That's a.
Can't say that. You can't just say that on air, Sam.
I can't.
Are we as a society to the point now where you can say you don't like Harry Potter and that's acceptable? Is that
oh my god, I'm not a part of your like mind prison of Harry Potter, Dylan. Jeez.
Oh, Sam, I'm part of the prison. I lived with the last name Potter while the books were being written.
Oh, I'm sorry, Andy.
This was my cross to bear. You know how many people said, "Hey, Mr. Potter," and you know how many bad British accents I listened to in my formative years?
Well, do you hate Harry Potter?
No, and that's the worst part.
My God,
Like, I was fine
start
with the
hating
book.
Harry Potter. You have justification. Start hating it.
I hate it now because it gave me a horrible childhood.
Good.
Okay,
Take out your
let's talk about Ghost of Butterfly Castle. That was good. I like that. I don't know if we've had Andy talk about Harry Potter before, if we've had occasion to talk about that.
Oh my God.
Okay, we already talked about the big parts of Ghost of Butterfly Castle, but we see the continuation of this unintentional new Butterfly Kingdom that Moon has surrounded herself with. And she needs to get her planner from the apparently haunted Butterfly Castle, and she runs into Mina. So I hate Mina. Mina's a really bad character. This is probably her best episode.
I agree.
Okay, Dylan, do you hate Mina more than Ludo?
No, that's not possible.
Okay, just checking.
I feel like that might be. This is why this week is potentially actually good. I think the Caterpillar episode might be Ludo's best episode. That's probably too odd. People disagree with that. This episode I found Ludo most tolerable, and this episode is Mina's best episode. Sam, you agree with that?
I agree. Yeah, I mean, it gave her some much needed depth, even if I think on her part it was unintentional. But in the meta story, it isn't. I don't know. Like, it's interesting to see kind of where she came from and why she does what she does, and how it's messed up that she's just like this knight for tyranny, and like she was the one with the yada yada berries.
Yeah,
so deep, man.
Yeah, she was the one who tried to poison Eclipsa before. Yeah. And we learned Mina is the last Solarian warrior. Apparently that was the thing, the Solarian program. It's a dark time in history, says Moon, and the soldiers paid a terrible price. You can be more than what you were made for. So we don't get into specifics, but this is, I think, enough. Like, Mina was like a super soldier thing that a previous Butterfly Queen started, and she's the last of her kind, and that's why the way she is. This would have been much needed like 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why didn't we know this before? But that being said, it is still good here. I do appreciate that. Amy Sedaris, this is like Amy Sedaris' worst character, so I'm glad that this is not her acting, but this is.
What about her Kimmy Schmidt character?
Oh, that's a fantastic character. I love that character.
I think that character's so annoying.
Well, that's on purpose, yeah. But okay. There's a lot of, this is Mina, I don't know. That's what these episodes are trying to right a lot of like past lack of depth issues the show has had, and I do think they're successful. It's just not in service of anything this season, I feel like. Maybe we'll see differently when it culminates, but it's like, okay, it's cool that we've bet Mina backstory, but is Mina really going to be a huge part of the plot here? I guess so, if she's going to like kill Eclipsa, but is that what's happening? I doubt it. But I guess that's the next plot thing.
Is there going to be a coup?
Well, we were talking about before how maybe Moon's new Butterfly Kingdom would rise up against the Eclipse's monster.
Yeah, but now it's turning out maybe Mina's just going to rally the troops.
Yeah, maybe Mina's leading Moon's forces instead of Moon, maybe. Or maybe it's just Mina on her own. But I do like the addition that Mina's the one that did the yada yada berries. That's good. It is interesting in Star's history, but I feel like all of Star's mythology is just stuff like this. Like, like, okay, this is like a minute of things. That's interesting, but there's no real depth here. But this is more than we'd seen for Mina. Andy, what do you think of Mina in this episode?
I think she's fine. Like, she never really went above okay for me. She got annoying at times. And in this episode, I'll admit, when it revealed it was Mina, I was like, oh no, this is just going to be like some stupid her punching stuff plot. And I was really happy it wasn't. I mean, it kind of was about that, but it wasn't like her just punching things after we saw that it was her. And so I guess that's better, but I don't know. I agree that we needed this before this episode.
Yeah, but still, another reaction I had is like, really, we're spending time in the last season on Mina. But that's the other side.
I think it worked as through seeing some, like I was saying earlier, I think it worked because we saw something about Moon through this, and that was good. I liked that. I liked seeing that, again, the hypocriticalness of Moon. But I don't know. I think we needed to know this about Mina sooner.
Yeah, so at the end, we already talked about this, but Moon says it's not her job to take care of everyone. She'll just, Eclipse will just have to deal with Mina on her own. So this is, we talked about the hypocriticalness, the badness of this. I think it's understandable from Moon's perspective why this is, like, we see what she's gone through. We see, like, everyone imposing on her. We see how she comes to this conclusion. But it is, like, an extreme thing. She's like, oh, I'll let this person kill Eclipse without doing anything about it. Like, whoa, this Eclipse is the person you were trying to make up with earlier in the season, and you're on somewhat friendly terms with.
Yeah. But the thing is, this is, like, a real commentary on people being like, if I just don't do anything, I'm not racist. Like, but she's legitimately allowing some people to get hurt by her inaction, and that's just not okay at all. This
is a big turn for Moon. Like, this is very, very not unsympathetic look. Even if you think Eclipse is evil, like I do still, I think I'm generally been on the Eclipse of evil bandwagon. This is like a bit terrible look for Eclipse of these episodes, by the way, was very like inconsequential. She's like, just doing things in the background while other things happen.
She's a mom.
She's just being a mom. It's like it's like putting your mind at ease about her. I feel like we're still like setting us up to pull the rug out with Eclipse.
Yeah, I don't think the other shoe's gonna drop on that one, but we've
been saying, will the other shoe drop on Eclipse?
You believe that?
So
we'll see in like a little over a month.
A month. That's it. But. Yeah, it's like a big heel turn for Moon, and it is just only one thing that she did. It's not like, I don't know, does this make her a terrible person? That's a complicated question, but if Mina kills Eclipse, she's complicit in that. Like, I think it's a bold commentary the show is taking at the end. I'm more I was more down on this episode to start with. I still thought it was good just because of Mina, don't care that much, but I do agree that the ending of this is kind of the most the boldest thing the show does this week for sure.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting. Moon. Are we just doing is Moon evil plotline? I mean, the answer is Star doing it? Is blank evil plotline? Is no, because the show is going for moral grayness. Like, but are we doing a Moon? Are we painting Moon in an unsympathetic light beyond this? Probably. I think this.
I think you can draw some sympathy from that. Like, she's tired. She doesn't want to like leave the people anymore. She just wants to be her and not have to have the responsibility and the weight of hundreds of lives on her shoulders anymore, which I think can be a sympathetic element, while at the same time she's ultimately failing everybody because she just lets Mina go.
But with that said, though, she did, in the same episode, she helped these humans do something better. Like, she found the energy to do something to help these humans that couldn't help themselves. But now that there's something that's an actual threat to monsters, she's just like, nope, that is not my issue.
She's clearly capable of it. And like I think that's what the episode does really well, and maybe it is the best thing the show does this week, and one of the best things of the season is it primes you for to understand why she's saying what she's saying, but at the same time still be kind of outraged by this action. Like it's still like this. It's like priming. We're the fact that I kind of had this reaction too. It's like, oh, okay, I get where she's coming from. It's like this terrible thing that she's doing, but you're kind of on Moon's side just because we've seen from her perspective for so long. I think the show does a really good job setting you up for that, assuming it's going to do something interesting with that beyond, to like what we saw from her perspective for a reason, to some end. But yeah, it is kind of this interesting thing they're doing where, we'll see if this is, she realizes the full consequences of this, and if Eclipse is killed by Mina, or if something terrible does happen to her because of what she didn't do here, and how she responds to that, how other people respond to her for that. Will she be held accountable? Will she hold herself accountable? I think that is one of the more, I think the position Moon in is one of the more interesting things moving forward now. So we'll see. And River's also in this episode.
Yeah, he is.
God.
I noticed that his beard like kind of covers his pecs.
I'm just kind of done with River.
Me too.
I don't know. I just noticed that his beard is essentially covering his nipples. So
I don't know. Like there's like things in Star that are like really like they really subvert stuff, and then other times they just do these things where I'm like, well, why are you still doing this stupid stereotype? Like where River is like the husband who's just really gross and ugly, but Moon's like fine with him. It's like, why are these two together? Why is this a thing? Like, why is he so gross for no reason? Like,
hot take.
Yeah. Like, I don't like it. I think it's just, I just don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, people find River funny and sympathetic and stuff.
Like, I'm fine with him. I think he's funny. I just don't like this portrayal of marriage.
It's a very, very cynical portrayal of marriage. Yeah.
The fact
who
that
is
the woman,
who is the stoic queen in the marriage, and who's the buffoon husband?
But Moon is the only one putting in any amount of work. Like, River looked for her, but as soon as he found her, like, he wasn't doing real work. He was just like running around yelling and doing what he always does.
This is kind of a hot take because people like her, but I agree with this. River's just still a terrible person. Like, he's not even
like, he's not even a good person to Moon. Like, Moon, he says some things that are nice to Moon, and he gave her food one time in the past, but what has he really done to improve her situation in Muni, or like done to support her in this part? Like he doesn't do anything to support her in her like plight here at all. He's
actually
just
think this is a flaming hot take. I think. Like,
I don't think it's that hot, but sure.
Well, I think
I agree with it, but I don't think it's like.
It's like a good take, a reasonable take, and I've not heard people express this recently. So.
And to be clear, again, I do think he's a funny character. I do like watching him do stuff, but I just can't stand him with Moon.
Really, what has River done this season to benefit anyone? He's just like
nothing.
He's just a sympathetic, selfish jerk who.
Bad.
And even if you look at the first couple episodes where he's helping find Moon, all he's doing is just beating people up, which is what he does anyways. He's not actually doing any work. And there's a point in the episodes where Star and Mark are like, "Hey, can you just not help us for a second? Because you're just messing stuff up." Because he really doesn't care about helping Moon. He cares about getting this relationship back where he doesn't have to do anything.
It's a good point. River is this commentary on, it could be this commentary on like the, likable guy that we have no expectations for the man. He doesn't help anyone, but we don't care. He's likable. Like, we like men. This is like, but really he's just this, but they're not doing that. He's just the likable character. He's just that. Like, he's just he's the bad person who we just like because we're primed to like this kind of person.
And I don't think they actively tried to make River this. I think he just got flanderized over the seasons in that, like, he started as just like they wanted the woman in the relationship to be like the leading member of it. Like, they wanted her to be composed and the ruler, and the king to be just not the ruler. And I like that. But I think they just kept going down this rabbit hole of making it worse and worse. And at this point, it's just, they're not good for each other, specifically River for Moon. It's just not a good relationship.
I mean, really, Moon should break up with River and get with Eclipse, right? I mean, that's
obvious.
Are they related? I don't even remember. They're not related, right?
No, they're not related at all.
Okay, so that's fine.
Yeah.
I guess. Free Moon. But also we don't like Moon because she just is potentially murdered someone. But free Moon. Okay, interesting. I like this take on River, even though he didn't really do anything. Okay, Meteora's lesson this episode. I find this to be a fascinating look at the history of Muni, in ways that we haven't really seen before. But also, I don't care.
Yep.
What's his face? Toffee. He was in it.
Like, oh man, I was craving to see Toffee. Like, the show would be so much better if Toffee was still here. I still don't care about, like, I think Meteor's Lesson is the best episode, like, of television if you can isolate it. Like, this is the funniest, most compelling,
oh my God.
Like, but in the context of the show, it just doesn't, it doesn't have the oomph that, like, the previous, like, I think Cornball's a better episode because Star and Marco are characters we care about and stuff. This episode, I don't care about anyone here. Like, it's the best TV, but there's I have no connection to anything that's happening.
And this doesn't feel like it's doing anything for the future. Like, all it shows is like, hey, Meteora knows magic. And it's like, well, we kind of knew that because she's the princess. Like, it didn't teach us anything even.
I mean, and we're going to go somewhere with Meteora. That's part of it. Whereas, like, I do think, like, it does world building that we desperately needed. Yeah. I think, like, that's good, but it doesn't, you're right. It doesn't help us for the future. But, Glossaric, and this might be the best Glossaric episode too. Like,
oh my God. Oh,
that's possible.
I don't like Glossaric, but I love the interaction with the boat guy. Oh my God. There's a line in here that's my favorite line of the
Reynaldo.
Son,
yeah.
When he says bye dad, I had to pause the episode. That was the funniest, like, the way he did, like, the line read was just so good.
that was really funny. Yeah. And we knew that, Glassrick created the high commissions. That all kind of checked out, and we keep going with that. And then Glassrick says, here's a free extra lesson for you. Don't have children. That was, says to a baby.
But that's before we knew he was the son.
No, that was after.
Oh, was it?
After. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Either way, it was really funny. The whole thing was just really funny.
I think Glassrick's change of voice has made him much more tolerable.
I wonder why.
I agree.
I agree also.
I think, like, how could this week be bad episodes if we had the best Ludo episode, the best Mean episode, and the best Glassrick episode?
We haven't even talked about Ludo at all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. We have to talk about that episode. Anyway, we'll get back.
I thought you were purposely avoiding it, Dylan.
We might not get there. We'll see. Jana's baby Eclipse has to go brush up on her pigeon for dinner party with the rich pigeons. That's a thing. Jana's babysitting. I would have asked MARCO, but Meteora doesn't like him very much. Who can blame her, says Jana. Yeah. And then Glassrick's been teaching Meteora the whole time to dip down. Basically, the reveal of this episode is like, Meteora is the princess now. She gets the wand, and Glassrick's like teaching her like he did Star.
Wow, the wand is a rattle.
Wow.
I'm shook personally.
So we see the origin of the wand. Yeah, like Glassrick time machines the wand into existence with the settlers of Muni. He puts the unicorn inside the rattle. Is the rattle in Meteora's current rattle the wand? Is that what we're saying too?
Yeah, like it's been. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god! Time travel! Don't do it.
But yeah, then Glassrick creates it, and oh yeah, he says we gotta hitch another ride with my weird son. Says Glassrick. Was that your line, Andy? Is that the one you liked?
No. It's the one where the giraffe says "Bye, Dad" when we learn that he's the kid. Because that's how we learned that he's his son. When he just says "Bye, Dad."
Bye, Dad. Yeah, it is very good.
It was so good. It came out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh my god! And I had to rewatch the entire scene again to see like the interaction. And it's just so much like it's just so well done.
Yeah, well, the thing is, everyone is really Glassrick's son because he's God in this world. But he also all of the High Commission are Glassrick's children's directly. So this is it did check out, I think.
Yeah, it did, but just it wasn't. You don't make all the connections until he says "Bye, Dad."
Yeah. He says he wants back on the High Commission. The giraffe does. But yeah, then we get to the also in that settlers scene, they huddle around the stump. So there's the origin of that. Yeah. And we go to this Rasticor scene with he gets his arm chomped off and regrown, and then there's Toffee with glorious hair.
Oh my god, this is the best
fantastic.
It's incredible. I want Toffee's hair like today.
Let's do it. Okay, we're all gonna get Toffee's hair now, and Toffee broke Glassrick's arm, and then Meteora like eye beams him, and it was nice to see Toffee. I don't remember what this set up. Like, clearly this is all like, this is the origin of this. Like, is this the origin of Toffee having grudges? Or I don't even know what we're doing, honestly.
God, we're gonna have to like rewatch the entire series.
Right, I think I'm missing something here, but it's also like, the implication is also that Glassrick like set up Meteora to zap Toffee, because at the end he replaces his arm. Is like, obviously Glassrick doesn't really have a broken arm, he's a god. And it's like, but I think magic's in pretty good hands. So he's like trying to get her to do magic by zapping him. Is she trying to get her to zap Toffee on purpose? Like, is it specifically Toffee? Is he just trying to train her in general?
Dylan, because remember, Toffee's whole thing is he wanted to get rid of the wand, get rid of magic completely.
Yeah, so this is the origin to this motivation?
I guess. It's really flaky and not deep, but I guess.
Yeah, I guess that could be it. Maybe we'll do more with this.
We won't get more Toffee, Dylan. This is all we get.
If Dylan didn't constantly mention Toffee, I probably would have forgotten. Remember.
Yeah,
that's fair. Before we move on from Toffee, I just want to say they like perfectly captured like an 80s movie with this look for Toffee, and I really loved it.
Nice. I like Toffee's origin as an 80s movie. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. Oh, and then Eclipse at the end. Miss Year's dipped down as daddy.
It wasn't even close.
She's a baby.
Just a baby, yeah. That's what baby would say.
In my older age, I'm coming around on babies. Like, I can appreciate that.
In your older age?
Yes.
You're not
opposed, I'm gonna be 25. As
This
opposed,
is not old.
as opposed to my younger age of being 20-ish.
I still hate babies.
Like I don't like babies in reality. Like,
Oh,
So you like animated babies?
yeah, like
Do you like Boss
so you're a big fan of Boss Baby?
Yeah.
no.
Dylan, the Oscar-nominated Boss Baby.
Oh my
Oscar
God.
nominated
I was on
Boss
that
Baby.
podcast. I don't know. Like, I'm coming around on their cuteness, and maybe it's just like the hormones, but it's like they're cute, you know, and children are cute. But I would never personally want to have one. Hot takes on cold babies.
Oh no,
What?
that sounds
no.
really bad.
I was
Yeah, well,
gonna
that's
say-
what Glasswork said. Don't have children, so you're just co-signing.
Yeah, no, I'm co-signing that as well.
Okay, hot takes, more hot takes here.
Children are still valid, and they're still.
I mean, yeah, it's fine if you have kids, but I mean, like, yeah,
They're not for me though.
not for me
Okay.
either.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what we're doing with Meteora in this episode. I don't really understand yet. Baby magic
She
next in
baby
line.
talks, and it's cute. And
Yeah,
I
we'll
guess.
see. Okay. Good. Actively liked Glasswork here, which is a big.
honestly,
turn from
I was
before.
waiting for like something malicious to happen.
Yeah, that's
I was
right.
waiting for pudding and for me to be mad.
Pudding.
I don't know. Like, I kind of don't feel on steady footing with Glasswork. I'm kind of always watching his every move to see what he's.
Well, yeah, it's because he's extreme. He doesn't care
But-
about anyone, and yeah.
I just hate that we're near the end of the series and still, like, all the characters I can think of, like, I have, like, they're gray, but in a way where I don't know what any of their motivations are.
Yeah, I mean Glasswork's motivations. I mean Glasswork is this fits in line with he's supposed to teach the next in line
But I
magic.
mean, like,
and,
he feels like he has something malicious further than that. Like, why does he care about this so much?
yeah, I would like to know that because he's a god. Why is he doing this?
And why doesn't he have more power as a god?
Yeah, and he's just. It seems. I think he does, and he's just choosing not to use it. But that would be nice to know more why the war. But that being said, I'm not asking for an Origins of Glasswork episode. We
Yes,
don't need
yes.
it. No.
Be very carefully saying no, we're not asking for that.
Let's focus on Star and Marco. Speaking of not focusing on Star and Marco, we can very quickly go over the Ludo episode here. Princess Quasar, Caterpillar, and the Magic Bell. Probably the funniest thing is the intro to this episode, which I thought was them doing a play at first.
Yes,
I thought this
I
was
did
another
too.
play but no, this is just Ludo found his way into into an alternate universe type situation where he's a knob instead of bonbon and trying to get the wand from Princess Quasar Caterpillar. He is a crab and a fish. This is one of the silliest things the show's ever done.
I approve of this. This is what the show should be doing. Stuff like this. Oh man.
Let's go over them. So we have Princess Quasar Caterpillar. She was it's like an alien helmet, just like sci-fi star. We have with like planet cheeks, and we have Robot Jackie.
Yes. If
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
That
If
was Jackie.
Yes, it
Robot
was.
is a hoverboard instead of a
yeah.
skateboard.
But if
This is the return of Jackie we've been waiting for.
But Dylan, can you imagine if Jackie was a mermaid here, like how we would all reacted?
Mermaid robot. It would have been the best.
It would have been. It literally would have done nothing besides been like fan service, and it would have been great.
Mermaid Jackie. Robot Jackie. We have one-eyed Jana. She's the same except she just has one eye.
Yeah, she's exactly the same, which is what confused me.
And then
At first, I thought that this was like the aftermath of the soul
Yeah,
splitting thing that happened in the flood.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
and I was like, that's weird. And then, everybody
Nope.
else started
She's
filing
just
in.
alternate universe. And then we have Marco in a suit with a like air bubble helmet.
yep.
Yep. Marco.
Yeah.
Which
They-
would
they have-
which would have been great with like a mermaid thing, like they were underwater somewhere.
Yeah. I guess he's human and on an alien planet. That's
Yeah.
is that why?
I
He has a
guess.
suit on instead of a hoodie. Okay. That was really weird start to the episode. I loved it. I kind of love it, but it was we could have done the whole episode as
Yeah.
Princess Quasar Caterpillar. I don't know. Why
I
we
would have
didn't
loved that.
I like how the show is like, that's too absurd doing Quasar Caterpillar for a whole episode. But we can do a whole Ludo episode. We can do 5 Ludo episodes, but that would have been too
Yeah.
absurd,
Yep.
Very selective. And the Magic Bell instead of the Magic Wand. We also had like alternate Glasswork too.
So are there multiple gods in this multiverse? Like this
Yeah, unclear if that's a god or sassy. What was she? Genie, weird looking. I don't know. They're all
they're all Glossaric. They all
very
share.
weird.
He's omnipotent. He's all of them.
Maybe that is Glassrick. That's true. Okay. So that was, I think that's the most notable thing to talk about. And then we get like Ludo. It's like, here's me back to, he doesn't say it, back to the same old pattern of coveting magical objects, but never getting them. But then it's like, oh, nope, we're not doing it. Like, we could have done like this whole like fake, the story of Ludo thing. I feel like that's what we're doing, and then we'll subvert it. And then, there's Dennis, Sam. Dennis is back.
Dylan, can I be honest with you? Now that we're done with that beginning part, I don't remember what happened in this episode because it was nothing. Nothing happened.
You remember anything after that?
Like, I remember they went to the castle and he saw his brothers, and then it was just
okay,
like,
we'll go over it.
No, I mean, like, I know what happened, Dylan, but it was nothing.
Well, Andy, I think this is our finale to Ludo. So this is
you're being way too optimistic.
I'll get into that when we get to the end. But Sam, Dennis, I need your Dennis takes.
I thought it was kind of weird that Dennis is the only not Doe name in the family. Apparently, I don't know if that was brought up because at the end,
in his intro, that was the joke. It's like, oh, here's all the, and then here's Dennis.
That's too long.
We didn't say. I don't think we saw more Ludo relatives than we ever saw before here, though.
There's so many Ludos. I feel for him because he kind of fell for a scam and who hasn't done that in their lives? Me. Anyway.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I like Dennis a lot. He's just he's the baby brother who's trying to keep everything together, but is kind of stumbling along because he doesn't really know how, and he's trying to, take care of Ludo, and Ludo is just a mess. And Dennis, I wish that he had a comic or something, a side comic. Yeah, Dennis Adventures.
Okay, we could do the spin-off Dennis comic.
I feel like the thing about the recent Ludo episodes that include Dennis, of course, because that's pretty much, you can't have Ludo without Dennis these days. I feel like they have a lot of depth to them that, given the silliness of the circumstances that they're around, that aren't really taken seriously. But there's definitely a lot of sparking moments there where I feel that's happened in my life, and that's relatable, and that's sad, and that's deep, and it's more human than anything the humans are doing half the time. And I feel like maybe it should be a graphic novel, just Dennis.
Okay, we're making the Dennis graphic novel spinoff. Okay,
nobody's going to make that.
Somebody will make that.
Fan comic. No.
No, so they'll probably do, there's probably a fanfic out there, a singular one.
Well, yeah, we'll search Dennis Star vs. Force Wheel on AO3, see if we find anything.
I'll do it.
Okay.
You guys talk while I do that.
Okay.
I predict 0, but maybe on fanfic, ff.net, maybe there.
I don't know, because...
Not on AO3, though.
We'll get into my fanfiction website preferences another day.
Okay, that's deep.
Did you see that AO3 was nominated for a Hugo Award?
Yes.
Yeah.
On topic. Okay.
sorry. That just.
I'll mention it another time.
Okay. But I don't know much. We don't need to go over much this episode. But Dennis buys Castle Laborious of Avarice to rebuild with Ludo. Ludo finds himself falling back into his old season 1 pattern. I thought that was pretty funny. But he's frustrated. He wants to change. Dennis gets frustrated that he is falling back into that pattern. Also, I feel like the best exchange is one of the monsters no, Ludo's going to get the wand through marrying Eclipsa. It's Obvi. It's Obvi. Yeah.
Yep.
He signed over to Land Baron Rat, and then it's as upset that Ludo still wants the wand. But then at the end, Ludo, he's like, oh no, Ludo's gonna go back into the swing of things. No, he uses his evil powers in order to get the contract back from the Baron, get his family back, and then he's playing basketball with Dennis, and the scoreboard says Ludo, and then 1 versus the Force of Evil 0.
Ludo versus the Force of Evil.
So I feel like the intent of this episode is Ludo going to fall back into his season 1 pattern? No, he's moved past it. He's happy now with Dennis. There you go.
Yay.
How do you spell do you spell Dennis with 2 N's or just 1?
Yeah, 2 N's.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought maybe he was special.
He is special.
Dennis. Yeah. So this is a great ending point for Ludo. Like, he's back. We tempted him with going back to how he was before, but no, he's past this and he's out of the story now. I also don't have confidence that we won't see Ludo again, but this does really feel like an ending.
Yeah, I mean, it does, but I mean, they've done so much with Ludo that I expect them to do more.
It's like, do they really have the wherewithal to not include Ludo in the series finale? Like, the restraints, like, they're definitely going to do that.
Yes.
Hey, so there is 2 fanfics on fanfic.net.
Are we shipping Dennis with anyone, or is he just in the fic?
No, he's just in the fics. There's 2 of them with him in it, in the tag anyway.
Okay.
On not fanfic.net, it's on AO3. I'll look.
And then AO3. What? How does he relate to the story?
I don't know. He's just in the tags. One of them is like a Tom Jana.
That's a thing. That's a thing.
That's a big ship. Don't make fun of that.
What?
Jana's into like supernatural things.
Comment below, please, as to why this is a thing. Because I don't.
Thing.
Have they ever interacted besides like that one episode last week?
Barely.
Barely. Yeah.
I'm too old to understand.
Okay. Sam, anything else to say about this Ludo episode?
No.
Andy?
Actually, no, I do have something to say.
Yes.
Sorry, Andy.
No, it's fine.
What is the thing on top of their heads? Like, is it supposed to be like just a bald spot?
You mean, what is the thing on top of there?
Yeah, like Ludo, Dennis. Like,
I see.
Thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Dylan, have you not ever noticed
It's their hair. I try not to look at Ludo. It's their hair.
Fair.
I don't like. These are just thoughts that come into my mind when I watch things. I don't.
It's a good question.
They're like nest bald spot things.
That's how that works.
Okay, there you go. Sam, final thoughts on any of the episodes this week?
No, not really. Hopefully next week I'll be more optimistic. Sorry if I'm kind of like a downer on all this. It's just, for me, it's like, I don't know. I don't have the energy to deal with an hour a week. That sounds bad. I'm sorry. Cut that out.
You had the energy to comment on it for an hour after watching it.
I did, but like literally on the Skype chat for this podcast, I said, "Why are there so many?"
I think I'm going to choose to interpret that as a commentary for the fandom frustration with the content of what's happening and it being in line with that. So I think it's fine.
I mean, sure. I don't interact with the Star fandom at all. Apart,
you
from
shouldn't.
Yes, agree.
You should interact on our Discord. That's all.
Discord is the only social media our Discord is the only social media that exists.
I'm sure Star is fine on Twitter or something. Maybe, I don't know.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah, I can't really back that up. Okay.
Dude, Dennis doesn't even have a character tag on fanfiction.net. What is that?
That needs to be rectified. I mean, he's such a major character.
Sam, you can be the change in the world you want to.
I'm not going to write Dennis fanfic.
You requested a graphic novel, though.
That doesn't mean I'm good at writing things.
Doesn't mean you're going to write it yourself. Okay, we need someone
Dude,
else.
there's a tag for Principal Skeeves, who is...
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Whomst?
I know, keep going. I'm sorry.
Okay, Andy, final thoughts.
Thanks for bringing me on for these very hard-hitting episodes, Dylan.
You had a lot of good things to say. You had some hot takes to get out.
Yeah, and now I'm going to go disappear into my cave, most likely, and never be here. And that's fine.
We'll only bring you back if there's another Ludo episode.
Oh, thanks.
So your fate is tied to Ludo on the pod. Just kidding.
I'm so happy about that.
We'll see. Well, that would mean if everyone is assigned a character, I think it'd.
Why isn't
finale though?
Michelle tied to Ludo. Michelle loves Ludo.
Alex and Michelle, I feel like
they're
like
busy.
Ludo. Yeah, they're busy though. It's okay. I didn't know this was a Ludo episode until yesterday. So yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
They're not really doing descriptions for most of these, which is interesting. But next week we have the Night's Shift. Queen napped. Oh, is Mina gonna kidnap?
Yes.
Eclipsa? Junkin Jana.
Ooh.
And A Spell with No Name.
Oh my god.
That's next week.
I'm more compelled by those episode titles.
And we're also only 2 weeks away from Coronation, the half-hour episode Coronation.
I'm also... Sorry, I had a final thought I just remembered. I'm really upset they teased us with Jana being a big part of the last episode and then she wasn't.
Jana's not done it. She's been very present these last 2 weeks and has not done anything. So.
I'm very upset by that. I thought we were going to get
into... I'm in this episode, and then she's just playing games the whole time, yeah.
I want to get into her soul being split in half. I need to see this.
Yeah.
Yeah, when will we see the ramifications? Who knows?
Yes.
Okay. Let us know what you thought of this week of episodes. Comment on all the hot takes that were made. Tell us if you're more optimistic about things or more into things. Tell us why. If not, tell us what you agree with. The comments at overlyanimated.com and the YouTube comments at youtube.com/overlyanimated. Or you can come tell us on our Discord at overlyanimated.com/discord. Thanks to and support us via patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to our current patrons, especially our patrons podcast, Rachel, aka Rachel Rose, and thanks as always to our patron executive producers John Ryan, Steve, Alex, Beatrice, and Hugh. Also today is a Miraculous Ladybug episode. You want to check out that podcast at overlyanimated.com. We just had Ruby D&D go up. Andy DMing that.
A lot of fun.
Yep, a lot of fun. Check that out at Overly Animated. And we will have other stuff, including more DC Superhero Girls coverage. We had a Craig of the Creek podcast this week. Fruits Basket coverage is coming as well at overlyanimated.com. So check all that out. Subscribe to Thomas Anything. We'll be back next week for more Star episodes as we head towards the May 19th finale. Very excited about that. Even if the tone does not say it, this podcast still very excited.
Sorry, guys.
No, I mean we're all a little low key. It's fine. Getting into some discoursey pod. It's good. Comment on the discourse. Don't do that.
On the Discord, comment about the discourse.
Do we really want that?
We want that to do that. Okay, thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.